Chapter 11, Unseen Forces. Louis's phone screen dimmed as the car sped down the dark highway. His heart raced, every instinct telling him that they needed to get somewhere safe, somewhere no one would think to look for them. He took a deep breath, his mind searching for options. "We can't keep driving forever," Harry said softly, his voice breaking the tense silence. He glanced over at Louis, worry etched on his face. "Where can we go?" Louis gripped the steering wheel tighter, his knuckles pale. "I know someone who might help. But I haven't seen him in years." Harry frowned. "Who?" "Zane," Louis replied, glancing quickly at Harry. "He's someone I used to trust. He knows the industry, and he's kept himself out of the worst of it. If anyone can help us, it's him." Harry's heart lifted slightly. "You trust him?" Louis nodded. "As much as I can trust anyone in this world." A wave of relief washed over Harry. Zane had always seemed like someone who kept a low profile, someone who knew the inner workings of the industry without getting sucked into its darkness. But Harry still had so many questions. "What do you mean when you say, the worst of it?" Harry asked quietly. "I know you said they control things, but how bad is it really?" Louis sighed, running a hand through his hair. "You don't even know the half of it, Harry. There are people in the industry, powerful people, who make deals that go way beyond just music. They control artists, media, even entire careers. And if you don't play by their rules, they'll bury you." Harry's stomach churned. "Like how?" "They manipulate everything," Louis continued, his voice growing darker. "You think the media just reports news? No, it's all carefully controlled. They decide who gets coverage, who gets praised, and who gets torn apart. If you cross them, they'll make sure no one hears your name again, or worse." Harry's eyes widened. "Worse?" Louis nodded grimly. "Artists have disappeared, Harry. Not just faded into obscurity, disappeared. Some of the biggest names you can think of, people who were on top of the world one day, and then gone the next. No one questions it because they control the narrative. They can ruin careers, lives, and no one even blinks." Harry's heart raced as the full weight of what Louis was saying hit him. This wasn't just about Louis running from fame, this was about survival. The people they were up against were far more dangerous than he'd imagined. "We have to be smart, Harry," Louis said, his voice quieter now. "These people, they'll stop at nothing to get what they want. If we're not careful, we'll be next." Harry swallowed hard. "Then we need to get to Zane. Fast." Louis nodded, his eyes flicking to the rearview mirror again as if expecting to see headlights in the distance. "He's the only one I trust right now." They drove in silence for another hour, the tension in the car thick as they sped through the night. Eventually, Louis pulled off the highway, turning down a narrow road that wound through the countryside. After a few more turns, they approached a small, secluded house hidden behind tall trees. "This is it," Louis said quietly, pulling up in front of the house. The lights inside were dim, but there was a faint glow coming from one of the windows. Harry's heart pounded as they stepped out of the car, the cold night air biting at his skin. Louis knocked on the door, his hand trembling slightly. After a few moments, they heard the sound of footsteps inside, and the door creaked open. Standing there was Zane, his eyes tired but sharp, quickly widening in surprise when he saw Louis. "Lou," Zane said, rubbing his eyes and pulling the door open wider. "What the hell are you doing here?" Louis gave him a tight smile. "Long story. Can we come in?" Zane glanced between Louis and Harry, concern flickering in his eyes. "Yeah, of course. Come on." They stepped inside, the warmth of the house wrapping around them as Zane closed the door behind them. The living room was minimalist but cozy, a few paintings on the wall and a guitar resting against the far corner. Zane motioned for them to sit down, his gaze focused on Louis. "What's going on, mate? You look like you're running from something," Zane said, sinking into a chair opposite them. Louis let out a deep breath, leaning forward. "It's worse than that. They've found me." Zane's expression changed, his eyes narrowing. "Them?" Harry glanced between Louis and Zane, feeling the weight of something unspoken pass between them. He could sense that Zane knew exactly what Louis was talking about. "I thought you got out," Zane said quietly, his voice serious. You disappeared for a reason. I didn't think they'd still be after you. Louis nodded grimly. I thought I could stay hidden. But they found me, and now they're after Harry too. Zane's eyes flicked toward Harry, his expression darkening. They know about him. Yeah. Louis said, his voice filled with frustration. I didn't want him involved, but now it's too late. They won't stop until they get what they want. Zane leaned back, crossing his arms. You know how this works, Lou. They don't let anyone walk away. Harry shifted uncomfortably, finally speaking up. But who are they? What do they want? Zane sighed, looking over at Harry with a serious expression. They control everything, mate. The music industry, Hollywood, the media. The people behind the scenes, pulling all the strings. And if you get in their way, well, let's just say they're not afraid to get rid of you. They make shady deals, Louis added, his voice low. Deals that go way beyond contracts. They control everything you see and hear, and they decide who makes it and who gets silenced. Harry felt a chill run down his spine. So they're dangerous. Extremely, Zane said, nodding. And they don't take no for an answer. If you're not useful to them, you're a problem. And if you're a problem, they'll erase you. Louis ran a hand through his hair, his voice strained. That's why I came to you. I don't know who else to trust. Zane sighed deeply, his eyes filled with concern. I've kept my distance from them for years. But if they're coming after you again, you're going to need to be careful. This is bigger than us, Lou. You know that. Harry's heart raced as he listened, feeling like they were in way over their heads. What do we do now? Zane looked between them, his face serious. First, you lay low. Stay off the grid. If they're watching, any wrong move could lead them straight here. We'll have to figure out a way to keep you both safe. Louis nodded, determination in his eyes. I'm not letting them control us. Not anymore. Zane's gaze softened slightly, but his voice remained firm. Just be careful, mate. These people, they play a game we don't fully understand. And they'll do anything to win. As the reality of their situation sank in, Louis and Harry exchanged a look. They were in deeper than ever, facing forces far beyond their control. But now, they had Zane on their side. Whatever came next, they would have to face it together, and hope it was enough to survive.